Ben Smith got his third win in the 2025 Edward Cross long-distance Comet race. There were a few lead changes early in the race, but coming out of Dockyard, Rudy Bailey was in front. He led until just before Fort St. Catherine, and then Ben Smith was in the lead. Here's a few spectator boats just before Fort St. Catherine. And here's the leader, Ben Smith, with a cruise ship in the background. You can see the boats that were leading at Fort St. Catherine: Ben Smith, Rudy Bailey, and Alan Frith. They weren't as close as they sometimes are going past Fort St. Catherine, but they were in shouting distance. So that's the top 3 boats going past Fort St. Catherine. I headed to the East End Mini Yacht Club for the finish of the race. Ben Smith had a big lead inside of the harbor, and you can see the next 3 boats behind him. Here you can see Ben Smith crossing the finish line. And you can see as he heads toward the dock at the East End Mini Yacht Club. Ben Smith's crew member was Christian Eben. Their boat was Summer, and their sail number was number 4129. Second place finisher was Alan Frith and Sarah Frith and Orion, and then Quinton Simons and Greg Proctor were in Sturdy Pot. The winners do a fist pump for another photographer, a close-up of Alan Frith and his crew, Sarah Frith, and in Steer the Pot there is Quinton Simons and Greg Proctor. So now the boats are starting to line up so that they could be lifted out of the water, and you can see how breezy and choppy it is right down by the club. I'm going to let you hear the sails flapping and the waves splashing against the dock so that you get a feeling of the atmosphere at the end of the race. This is the 6th place boat. Now they're going to start hauling boats out of the water. So this is the scene at the East End Mini Yacht Club, and more boats are finishing. The first thing that most of the sailors asked when they got ashore, if they weren't in the top 3 or 4, was, who won the race? The winner's boat is out of the water, and now you can see second place getting ready to get hoisted out of the water. Now as boats finish, you can see that they're lining up, waiting their turn to get taken out of the water. Second place is up, and boats are still finishing. Some more shots of the East End Mini Yacht Club and the boats coming in. That's my cousin Jocal Washington and Lady Commodore. Jocal's mother Patty was the Commodore of the club. Veteran Gladwin Lambert isn't in his normal top 5 because apparently he capsized off of oil dock. This looks like Maxwell Curtis's pole position being pulled out of the water, and there are still boats finishing. Lady Commodore is being pulled out of the water, and here you can see Pettis by Jocal Washington. So most of the boats have been hauled ashore, and you can see all the boats up on the dock. there are the winners. It's mostly crew in this area, but there are a lot of people being well-wishers and congratulating the sailors that were in the race. Here going right to left are the top 3 boats. And this was the scene at the East End Mini Yacht Club. This was the 80th anniversary of the race being called the Edward Cross Long Distance Sailboat Race. And last year I had an art exhibition featuring this race. This is a painting that I still have of the same finish. Was a bit of seaweed in the water when I painted this. And last year I caught this scene up at the West End Sailboat Club at that finish. So thanks for watching, and I still have some of my paintings of this race at my studio. You may like, share, and comment if you really enjoyed this. Bye.